Hello people, I'm the Real Comic Book Gamer, and today I'm doing my spoiler review slash discussion for Avengers Endgame. So spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, don't watch this video. I will be spoiling pretty much everything. I'm going to be talking about a lot of the movie, so don't watch this if you haven't seen it. There's your warning. Anyways, let's get into it. So I went and saw Avengers Endgame on Thursday night, and I wanted to wait and stew a little bit, let it sit, and think about the movie. I didn't want to immediately make a video after I just saw the movie because it's a lot to take in. It's a 3-hour movie. There's a lot there, so I wanted to process it more and think about it. And yeah, I've still only seen it once. I'll probably see it again next weekend. But yeah, it's just a lot. So overall, I enjoyed the game. Also, this video is going to be random. By the way, I didn't even write an outline like I generally do for my reviews. I just wrote down a few notes of things I want to talk about. So sorry if this video is all over the place. Not going to be much coherence or editing. It's just going to be me talking about the movie because I really wanted to get my thoughts out there about this movie. But anyways, I really enjoyed Endgame. I thought it was great. I didn't like it near as much as Infinity War, though. I thought Infinity War was a lot better. But going into the movie, I expected that. I even said that in previous videos before, talking about like my most anticipated movie, saying that it'd be so hard to match to match Infinity War. I didn't think they could do it, and to me, they didn't. Still a really good movie. But yeah, here's where it ranks among the other Marvel movies for me. I'd say it's one of the great ones, but it's not as good as some of the great ones. That's my opinion, though. I know a lot of people think it's the best one ever and really enjoy it, but it'll be interesting to see what people think about it like a year from now. But right now, that especially with that how hyped that the third act is, like that last hour of the movie is insane and it's really good. But yeah, overall, I did enjoy it. I do have some problems. That's what I'm going to mainly be covering here because you've heard from everyone else all the great things about the movie. So I want to talk about some of the things I didn't really care about. There wasn't really anything that really made me super mad about it or anything, or I was like, oh, this is terrible. It's just like, oh, that could have been done better. But for the most part, I think the Russos pretty much made the best movie they could, considering they had an enormous task on their hands with tying up so many different storylines, trying to make things emotional, trying to just make this stuff make sense. And I did not envy the position they were in, but they did a great job with it. Anyways, my biggest problem with the movie was the handling of Bucky, because in Winter Soldier and Civil War, they handled the Bucky-Steve relationship so well, to where in this one, Steve kind of just like, he doesn't really care about Bucky in this one, like at all. Because at the end, Steve leaves, goes back in time to put the stones back where they're supposed to go, and then he decides, you know what, I'm also going to go back to Peggy and have that life I was supposed to. So he does that. And in the process, he just completely leaves Bucky behind, and he comes back as an old man. But the thing about that is, Steve's like, oh, I'm going to go get my life. Screw you, Bucky. I don't care if you're from that time period also. You're stuck now in the present with basically no friends. I was your one friend. I was the one person that could relate to you, being us both being sort of men out of time. Well, now you're stuck in the modern age, but I get the life I wanted, so, see you, Bucky. And it was like, really? He just leaves Bucky like that? After all he fought through? Like, man, that was the one problem, because I could see him going back and returning home and getting with Peggy, because, the world's been saved, the threat with Thanos was done with, there's enough heroes where they can take care of it, they don't necessarily need Cap. But to leave Bucky like that, that's where I was like, I don't know about that. Also, when he comes back, he doesn't say anything to Bucky. He's kind of just like flips him the bird and is like, hey, Sam, you're my bestest friend of all time. Here's my Captain America shield. You are my only friend ever, Sam. Sam, I love you, Sam. You are just the best friend. And doesn't say like a word to Bucky. It's like, this is kind of harsh, considering like he just gives him the cold shoulder. Obviously, I'm over exaggerating, but he does give him the cold shoulder. Especially, like, it's so weird because of how great they handled the Steve-Bucky relationship in Winter Soldier and Civil War. Those movies were great with how they handled it. And then this one, he kind of like gives him a hug before he leaves, and that's it. And then when he comes back, he like talks to Sam, and Bucky's just like sitting there like, yeah, my best friend left me, but it's all cool. I don't care. It's all good. It's also picking Sam as Captain America, I didn't like either. I figured they were probably gonna do it towards the end there, but when he didn't come back, and I figured he was gonna give it to Sam, but still, I was hoping to go to Bucky, because Bucky Cap is one of the coolest things to happen in the Captain America comics, to where Falcon Cap was kind of, but Bucky Cap was really cool. But that's never going to happen now, so that kind of sucks. I thought, oh, I wanted that so bad, but now we're never going to get that. But yeah, that was one of my things where, like, Steve's acting like he's the one that got plucked out of that he's the only one that got plucked out of that time, and he's done. It just felt weird because like Bucky's from that time too. Bucky got brainwashed by Soviets and everything, and lost a big chunk of his life, and now he's in the modern day, a day that he's not necessarily super used to either, and doesn't really have any friends. Like, everyone would go back to Civil War, and everyone was trying to capture him, and people were trying to kill him. You were his only friend, and now you're pretty much still only his friend. He's kind of like a little bit okay with Sam, but like he's not really big friends with anyone else. I guess he's got a place in Wakanda. Like, if I was Bucky, that's where I'd go. I'd just go back to Wakanda and be like, you guys got room for me, please? I kind of chilled here for a bit. Like, that's the most time he spent outside of being the Winter Soldier, it seems, was besides his one bedroom apartment in that he had in Civil War. But yeah, Steve leaving him just felt like rubbed me the wrong way. Now, I'm not one of those Stucky stands. Those people are like, how dare he wouldn't leave Bucky for Peggy. Him and Bucky should be banging and blah blah. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not one of those people. I'm not despicable. I'm talking about them just being friends. The Stucky stands are just so annoying. I'm just like, the level of friendship that we saw from Winter Soldier and Civil War didn't match this movie, where he just kind of left Bucky and was like, it was kind of selfish in that way. The fact that he left Bucky to go get his life. Also, wasn't Peggy married? I know it's creating an alternate timeline because the time rules in this movie, like, I get they did what they had to do, considering how the Russo brothers set up. Okay, so first off, whenever it comes to time travel movies, there's always going to be plot holes, every single one. You can't think too hard about a time travel movie, because whenever you do, your brain will just hurt and you'll find plot holes and it'll make you enjoy the movie less. So the rules they established for this was that no matter what you do in the past, you can never change your present. You'll just create an offshoot of a timeline. You'll create another timeline. And so that's what Steve did. So technically, in like one universe, Peggy and her husband still got together and everything, but in another, Steve, all the Marvel movies with Captain America never happened because he went back in time and changed that. And he ruined Peggy's marriage because she never actually got married because she stayed with him. So that was kind of weird. I don't know. The whole like alternate timeline thing was kind of odd, especially considering they were trying to be careful back in time. But now Steve's just like, nah, I'm going to go with Peggy, which again, I was fine with that. The main problem was just the whole leaving his best friend that he had fought so hard for behind. It didn't add up. If Bucky wasn't there, 100% be like, okay, him going with Peggy makes sense. The fight's over. He's going home. He's returning to that life that he should have had. Makes sense. But leaving Bucky after everything they went through didn't add up. I don't feel like he'd just be like, okay, Buck, now you're alone and I'm going to go bye. Like, it just didn't make sense. Anyways, getting off that topic, because I've talked about it enough, let's move on to Thor, who was so badass in Infinity War, and probably my favorite part of Infinity War, and was definitely my favorite interpretation of Thor in the movies was during Infinity War. He was awesome, and his story arc was great, and he's had a really cool story arc from Thor 1 to now, but in this one, he gets played off as a joke. Granted, it's hilarious. Like, when I first saw him in that Fat Man suit, it was funny, but it kind of, it didn't feel right considering how he was in the last movie, and then this one, they just play him off for jokes. Like, I feel sorry for Thor fans. Any Thor fans, I understand if you're upset about that. Like, man, I understand him, like, just being kind of done with it all and being very upset about everything that happened. But to play him off as a joke like that was kind of, especially because I feel like that final fight with Thanos, which was awesome, by the way, I feel like Infinity War Thor would have ended that fight in about 2 seconds. I genuinely believe that Thor that showed up in Wakanda, he would have ended that fight with Thanos when he had his freaking dual sword staff thing. He would have killed him in approximately 2 seconds. But this fat, out of shape Thor kind of did, even though he had Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, wasn't able to do much. But yeah, he kind of got played off for laughs. That was his whole point. He was there to just be comedic relief for the most part. I did really like his section when they went back to Thor the Dark World and time travel and him talking to his mom. That was really cool. I love that. Also, props to Chris Hemsworth for being able to go from the most badass guy in the MCU to like just a laughing stock. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in his acting, how he can do that to where like you're genuinely afraid of this guy. He's so badass. Like when he tells Thanos he's gonna kill him, and then go to just this fat dude drinking beer playing Fortnite. Also, people in my theater booed when Fortnite came on screen. When Fortnite came up on screen, people booed. So that was funny. But yeah, again, I generally enjoyed the Dark World part, but the other parts, which were funny, still didn't feel right for Thor. Everything he had been through, like just playing him off as a joke, is like, why'd you got to do that? Why you got to play him off as a joke? That's another thing. Also, with this movie is the humor. Again, I enjoyed this movie. I'm just going more into the negatives right now because you've heard the positives from everyone, so I wanted to go over some things I didn't like. Let's go into Hulk now because he's different in this. We got Professor Hulk, to where it's Bruce Banner's consciousness actually in Hulk's body. I haven't cared for Hulk since Incredible Hulk, I'll be honest. Like, I really liked Hulk in Incredible Hulk. I know a lot of people don't really care for that movie. I think it's good. I don't think it's great or anything, but I enjoy the movie, and I think Edward Norton killed it, and it really made me like Bruce Banner, and I liked Hulk in it as well. But ever since then, it seems like the MCU, not the Russo brothers in particular, I don't blame them, MCU in general has just played Hulk off as a big joke, and they don't really know what to do with him. He's kind of just there to be a goofy idiot. That's what Bruce Banner and Hulk are there for, like in every single movie. Hey, that just seems to be how they are. In Avengers 1, he wasn't necessarily as much as a joke. He's a bit more serious, even though, he had his comedic parts, like when he punches Thor or when he's ragdolling Loki. But those more sort of were in line with his character. They just happen to look funny, to where in like Ragnarok, Infinity War, and this, he's just more of a joke. So that part, nothing particular to this movie, just MCU in general, haven't really known what to do with Hulk. They just kind of like, oh, we'll just make him funny. But yeah, that's the point I wanted to get to, was the humor in the movie, to me, didn't fit as well as Infinity War. To me in this, I agree with Jeremy John's review, if you guys seen it. He talked about how he felt like the humor was more sectioned off in this, where it's like, funny moment, serious moment, funny moment, serious moment. Instead of sort of intertwined well, it was kind of sectioned off. Like this whole part where we're going to go to New Asgard and see Thor, that's all just going to be like straight out of a sitcom, just funny moment. And then like they would switch to something else and it'd be like, this is all going to be super, like we'll go to Iron Man and it's going to be super serious. But yeah, that felt a little weird. Thanos in this movie, let's talk about Thanos now. He was cool. I thought it was cool when he's taking on Cap, Iron Man, and Thor without the Infinity Gauntlet. That was nuts, showing how powerful he is. Even though we had already seen a 1v1 Hulk, still seeing that was cool. But I would have enjoyed a little bit more of him. I get it that Infinity War was his movie, and he was like the big main character in that movie, so they weren't going to focus on him as much in this movie. But I would have preferred a little bit more, like I said, because they made him so great. And Infinity War, it would have been cool to see a little bit more from him. I would have liked that. Just, I don't know. I thought it would have been cool. I loved it when he takes the Power Stone out of the gauntlet and just punches Captain Marvel. That was great, because I was like, oh no, there's no way they're gonna have her in this. And also, I was really happy about how the Russo brothers handled this. They definitely made this about the OG Avengers. They didn't just be like, oh hey, cool, you just came in like 2 months ago into the MCU, well, now you're gonna defeat Thanos. Like, that wouldn't have felt fulfilling. That wouldn't have felt like a good payoff if they would have had some newbie come in and save everyone. Like, it felt like a much better payoff having Iron Man, the guy that started, do it. But I'll get in that in a little bit. But yeah, Thanos, I would have preferred a little bit more of him, considering how well he was in the last one. But when he was in this one, he was pretty cool for the most part. I also love Scarlet Witch's entrance. That was badass. When Scarlet Witch drops down and she starts talking crap to Thanos and she just beats his ass, and that's what Thanos is like, just rain hellfire. That was really cool. Like, Scarlet Witch destroying Thanos was awesome, and then all the hellfire coming down, because that was the way to stop Scarlet Witch. That was cool. I would have liked to seen her versus Ma, I think that's his name, the telekinesis guy, that's Thanos' child. I would have liked to seen like a cool scene of them two having a telekinesis off, I guess. That would have been cool. But still, seeing her beat up Thanos and then him call down Hellfire was, I like that. I thought that was pretty badass. Especially because Scarlet Witch didn't get to do much in the last movie besides kill one of his children. She was kind of just there on Vision Patrol. So for her to have that moment was cool. I wish Doctor Strange would have had a moment like that. Like, he had his moment where he talked to Iron Man, but I wanted more Doctor Strange. I really like Doctor Strange. He's cool in the last ones. So him having like a little bit more would be cool. Instead, he's kind of like fighting some water. So everyone has their role to play, but I would have liked to see a little more than him just fighting some water. That would have been nice. But yeah, let's get into some stuff that I really loved about this movie now, which is Iron Man's story arc. Holy crap, throughout all these movies to now, Iron Man's story arc is great, and it's really sad seeing him die like that. But it was great, I thought the way his story arc went was really good, especially considering he was the only one that really had anything to lose from the 5 years since the snap. Because 5 years since the snap, everyone else had kind of wallowed in their own like pity and just been like, this sucks. We got to keep fighting, but this kind of sucks. They hadn't really tried to move on. They were still, yeah, no one had really moved on except Iron Man. He had moved on a little bit, and he was just like, I've got my new life now. I don't really have to be Iron Man anymore. For once, Pepper can get what she wants, because through all the years, Pepper always tried to get him to quit being Iron Man. She's like, I don't want you to keep doing this. And so he finally had that life. He had his daughter, and they had a really great relationship. I loved seeing that. Those two on screen were great. And yeah, so he was the only one that really had anything to lose, and he did lose it all. He died for them. And I thought it was really cool seeing that, because it's like, why would Iron Man do it other than, he is a hero? But when he saw that picture of him and Peter, that's what really sunk it in, where he's like, yeah, I know I have something to lose, but all these other people have already lost so much. So it would be selfish of me to just be like, screw you guys, I have so much to lose, I'm not gonna go and risk it all. And he went and he did. He brought everyone back, and that was really, I liked it. Iron Man's story arc was pretty much perfect for me. I really enjoyed how they handled Iron Man. It was sad. Probably the saddest part for me. So in my MCU rewatch, I rewatched 3 movies. I rewatched Iron Man, Civil War, and Infinity War. I watched Infinity War day of. I saw Endgame, like right before, 30 minutes before I saw Endgame. Infinity War ended, and I drove to the theater. But I wanted to rewatch more, but I was kind of just procrastinated it too much. So that was my fault. But anyways, I'm really happy I rewatched Iron Man 1, because there are a lot of callbacks to it in this. Especially the part that really got me was when Happy was talking to Tony's daughter. And he's like, what do you want? I was like, are you okay and everything? She's like, yeah, I just want something to eat. I'm like, what do you want? Cheeseburgers. Like, your dad liked cheeseburgers. And I was like, I was thinking immediately of Iron Man 1 when he comes back from Iraq or Afghanistan, whatever. When he comes back from the Middle East, and he's like, I want to get a cheeseburger, an American cheeseburger. And he goes to Burger King, and then he calls his conference. He's sitting there eating a cheeseburger while he's doing the conference. I just immediately had that flashback. I was like, oh man, he's dead now. It was definitely a sad moment. But yeah, I really liked his arc, even though it didn't make sense when he got the Infinity Stones and nothing burned up, and Tech is now able to hold Infinity Stones. That didn't make sense, considering he had to go to freaking the giant dwarf in space to get his gauntlet made, Thanos. But in this, Tech can hold it. I was like, that's kind of stupid, but it didn't really bother me that much. Same with Iron Man being all taken, not being all burned up, because when Thor had it, when Hulk had it, he got all burned up and was just like, it was killing him, it seemed, to where Iron Man got it, was fine until he snapped his fingers. I was like, that's kind of stupid. I didn't really care. It was one of those things where like it got me for a second, and then I was like, whatever. Same with when they had the all female Avengers like line up. It took me out of the movie for a second. I was like, really? Why? And then I was like, whatever, it's just more fan service, and I moved on. Like, it annoyed me for a second, and then I was like, whatever, I don't really care, the scene's so cool. So that was whatever. But yeah, Iron Man's story arc was really cool. Black Widow I liked more in this movie than any of the other movies. I've always liked Black Widow, but this one I really liked Black Widow. Like, I loved Black Widow in this movie. Seeing how she took over for S.H.I.E.L.D. and was that leader, I thought that was really cool. And seeing what she did. Also, I like when her and Hawkeye are, debating, fighting over, I'm going to go over the cliff and sacrifice myself. No, I'm going to do it. Red Skull's right there just watching these idiots, just like, come on, why don't you just yeet yourself over the cliff? Come on, please. Why can you guys just stop fighting? Just someone go over? Like, I half expected Red Skull to just come over there and just like knock one of them out and take him and throw him, like just take him and be like, go. that would have been great, because he's just sitting there like, come on, I got a schedule to keep. But yeah, man, her dying, oof, she just jumped off a cliff. Hers wasn't as sad for me as Iron Man, because I like the journey had been on Iron Man wasn't as much as Black Widow. Going into the movie, I definitely did not expect either of those characters to die, but especially Black Widow, because we had that Black Widow movie, and there were all those rumors saying it was going to be a prequel, but I was like, I don't think they'd kill her and then I didn't think Disney would kill Black Widow and then be like, here's a prequel. I just felt like that'd be weird, but apparently that's what they're doing. So who knows? But I really hope Iron Man and Black Widow don't ever come back. Please don't. These deaths need to stick. They need to stay. We've had a lot of MCU fake out, so please just keep these here. But yeah, I don't think there's too much else to talk about. Overall, again, I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was really good, but I wouldn't say it was as good as Infinity War. But yeah, I liked it. It was just, they had to tie up a lot, and it is a big movie. The time travel stuff was cool. I like Cap, pretty much everything with Cap too. My favorite part of the movie was Cap when he, actually, I don't know. It's hard to say what my favorite part of the movie is. Is either when Cap picked up Mjolnir and 1v1 Thanos, that was awesome, or Iron Man at the end when he got the stones. that was sick. I like those. It's probably when Cap got Mjolnir. That's probably my favorite part. But when Iron Man goes, "I am Iron Man," and snaps, oh, that was sick. And also, if you want to make a scene sad, add Tom Holland. Like when he was there talking to Tony when Tony's dying, that was so sad. To where I didn't feel as sad when Pepper was talking to him. Like, I did like what Pepper was saying, though, where she was kind of like, you know, we're safe, we'll be all right, like, trying to ease him, knowing he doesn't have to fight anymore, because this whole time, he'd always been Iron Man, he'd always been this hero, he had always fought, and now she's like, it's okay, he took him out, we'll be fine now. I like that. I like that Pepper was telling him that, but the part with Peter was more sad for me than the part with Pepper. That was just me, though, maybe. But Tom Holland knows how to make a scene have emotion, I'll say that. But yeah. I think that's pretty much it. Overall, I really enjoyed it. Maybe I'll make another video on it after I see it again. There'll be some other things I noticed, but overall, really enjoyed it. Main problems were just how they handled Thor and Captain Bucky's relationship in that. I felt those were a little off, but overall, didn't have too many problems with it. The time travel rules are kind of stupid, but I get why they did what they did. And yeah. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know in the comments below, what did you think of Endgame? What was your favorite part and what was your least favorite part? That's what I really want to know. But yeah, thank you to everyone who made it all through this like 20-minute plus video. But yeah, see you guys later.